Question 7. The table shows information about the number of text messages sent by 40 teenagers in one day. So we have these in groups, 0 to 2, 3 to 5, so on and so forth. The number of teenagers that actually sent text in that group, so 3 teenagers sent between 0 and 2 texts, 15 teenagers sent between 9 and 11 texts, so on, so forth. We also have these 2 columns here, one with a title, mid-interval value with a few things filled in, and another blank one, which we're going to be using at some point in the question, otherwise they wouldn't be there. Part A, write down the modal class. So that's which of these groups at the start has the highest frequency or the most amount of teenagers that sent it. Well, it just so happens that 15 here is the largest frequency, so 9 to 11 is the modal class. B part 1, work out an estimate for the mean number of texts sent by the 40 teenagers. Well, mean, we need to get the total number of text and divide it by the total number of teenagers. Now we already know the total number of teenagers. That number was given to us in the question itself, 40. But if you wanted to know another way that we could get it, it would be to add together all of the teenagers here to get 40. So 40 is going to be our number that's on the bottom. To get the total number of text, we've got a bit more work to do. We're going to have to find what all of the text in each of these groups add up to. The problem is that we've not been given exact values. We've been given a group, a class, which is why it has the word estimate in the question. Well, that's where this mid-interval value comes in. So if we figure out what each of those mid-interval values are here, the middle of each of these groups here, then we use that as our guess for figuring out the mean, as opposed to 0 to 2. You just assume that each person has 1 text in that group. Instead of 12 to 14, we assume it's 13, so on and so forth. And then we're going to multiply these numbers together to get what I like to call our mini totals. So the mini totals would be the total number of texts sent in each group. So this group, this group, this group, one at a time, before we add them all together to get our grand total. So mid-interval values have been given 1 and 4, because 1 and 4 are the middle of 0 and 2 and 3 to 5 respectively. If we keep going down, we will have 7, 10, 13 and 16. Now my habit even of writing them there is because some questions don't actually have that column in it. You can write them as a column, and of course because of the fact that it's here, I'm going to do that just now. Some questions don't put that, so doing it there is a little habit of mine. Once we've done that, we do the multiples to figure out the totals. So 3 times 1, 6 times 4, 10 times 7, 15 times 10, 5 times 13, and 1 times 16. If we add all of them up now, I haven't actually wrote down what they're all added together. 2797, 247, 307, 312, 328. And then we're going to do 328 divided by 40, which gives us 8.2. Part 2. Explain why your answer to part B, I, is an estimate. Well, I kind of talked about this already, but just to clarify, the mid-interval value is basically a best guess of the number of texts sent in each group. So how I could write that is, as the mid-interval values are an estimate for the number of text messages sent in each group. And when I say estimates, really it's a best estimate. I could say that as well. I could say a best instead of an estimate. Either way. Either way, you're stating the fact that, look, we're just assuming these numbers instead of those. That's where it becomes an estimate. Done.